I like the foggy weather. I like it when it's nice and cool. Makes it easier for me to go out there and run, Jack.
I actually did not get a chance to run today.
Really?
I'm pulling a 12-hour day today, man. Working from 7 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock in the evening.
Slacker,
Jack, you's a working fool.
I'm
it's
a
Billy
working
Armi
man.
over here.
Who's that?
Did you get out to the fair, Jack?
I did not get out to the fair because I was working.
Oh, man, the fair.
Yeah, Billy, not
Dave
like
and I had
you.
a fantastic time out there, didn't
Not
we,
like
Dave?
us.
We had to eat those greasy fries, those beautiful
Oh, that's
ladies.
fantastic. Yeah, you haven't
came
been here
and
since
brought
the
you
fair. Yeah, that was great.
No, I have not. You know, I was disappointed, though. There was no payphones out at the fair, Dave.
That's
we tried
right.
to find
We were
payphone.
depending on that for a bit that we wanted to do, right?
Yeah, we were. And it was a bummer because, years ago, back in the 80s, Dave, when I went to the fair, there was a time when I got stuck there with a good friend of mine. I was a boy, and we were stuck out there, no parents. And we had to use the payphone to call up, right? Call, hey, we need a ride.
Right.
And nobody answered the phones that night. So me and my friend, we walked actually from the fair back into Watsonville. It was a long, long walk that night.
At night, too?
Yes, at night. And my friend
There's
kept
coyotes
turning.
all through there, too.
My friend blamed you. I don't exactly know why, but how it went down. But yeah, the whole walk home, he kept saying, I hate you. I hate
Really?
you. I hate you.
Sounds like a true friend, Billy Armi.
He is a true friend. He is. He's a great friend of mine. But yeah.
You weren't scared walking out there by the graveyard because there's a big graveyard out there. Did you have to walk by?
No, not at that
Or
time.
did you know
I
it
don't
was
think so.
graveyard
I
that you
think
were
I was
walking
probably
through?
a little older, maybe like 13, 14, so I wasn't that
I would have been freaked
scared.
out.
Really?
Yes.
Well, it didn't really occur to me at that time. I was more concerned about being hit by a car on the side of that dangerous road.
Jack, are you scared of anything like the dark or Bigfoot or anything? Are you scared?
I am horrifically. I have the worst case of arachnophobia a human being can
Really?
have. They should put me in medical books to describe how bad my arachnophobia is. It's not that I'm afraid of the dark, but I am always afraid for some reason that there is a phantom person who's just waiting in my driveway to jump out and stab me to death.
Have you ever seen a ghost, Jack?
I've never seen a ghost. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't think ghosts are a thing.
What do you think about daddy long legs, real quick? I'm curious on the spider topic.
So I can.
Do those freak you out, daddy long legs?
I can
Not me.
emotionally deal with a daddy long legs
Right.
as long as I'm prepared
Emotionally
for it.
deal with it.
If I'm prepared for it, I can deal with it. I can get a cup. I can scoot the piece of paper underneath, and I can take it outside because I'm a man of peace. I'm not a man of violence.
Well, that's
Yes.
nice. That's a good thing.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't like to kill the spiders either unless I feel they're giving me the eye.
Yeah.
If they're a real black spider and I can't just get them out of there easily, I get freaked out myself and I have to kill them, and I don't like that.
Can
really
I
don't.
can I tell you guys what my method is for actually killing a spider if it gives me sass?
Sure.
Yeah.
I have a Swiffer that I bought, not for Swiffering. It's not to Swiffer a single thing. The only thing it's for is so if there's a spider on my wall, I have a good 8 feet. So much like my ancestors on the plains of Africa,
Right.
like when they were
took a Swiffer.
right when they were spearing large mammoths, I can just go up to the wall and I can spear a spider with the Swiffer because it makes the perfect.
The Swiffer.
All right. It makes the perfect fly swatter for a wall, but I can be 8 feet away from
Does
it.
it kill them or does it just catch them?
No, it smushes them.
Oh,
It
wow.
straight smushes them.
I got a friend who likes to use a vacuum cleaner.
That's horrible, dude.
Just suck them out.
I could tell you what. I have a lot of cool gadgets. I just bought one. You saw the gadget. You saw the gadgets I bought, right? I did. Number one, I got a cordless microphone, so this way when we go out to the fair next time or the next remote that we do, we can go and have fun with that. I also got, Billy, a pack of gravity-proof pens. These pens will write in space.
Really?
Awesome, yes.
These the NASA developed years ago. They had these special pens.
Right. I don't know if it's the same ones, but these things are guaranteed to write in space. They'll write upside down. They will write anywhere that you can write. Very, very cool.
Yeah, I remember like NASA developed that pen and what have you, the anti-gravity pen, spent a lot of money on it. And then the Russian astronauts, they ended up using a pencil.
Because it works.
Because it's got, like why, a pencil's, hello. Save the $2.5
Okay, so
million
on cool gadgets and for killing spiders, the best money you could spend, $40, is on one of those shotgun, the things that shoot salt.
The salt shotgun.
Man, those are fantastic, dude. Those are great because they shoot little grains of salt. There's nothing to clean up, and it shoots right through them like a little shotgun, and it doesn't, blow them all to pieces or anything. But it's really, really cool.
I got to get one of those.
Oh, they're super.
These are for flies?
They're flies, spiders, whatever.
Huh.
You could even use them to salt your food, I guess.
Wow, that would be kind of fun, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have about a 4 foot, 5 foot kill range.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they're really cool.
But I still feel if you shot a fly up, isn't it going to be there's going to be particles of it all over the
no
place,
the things the salt rocks just go right through it, just like a shotgun would. You
Really?
They go right through the fly and you just see them dead.
Wow.
Either that or else he has a heart attack. I don't know, but you don't see anything.
Either way,
messy.
it's he's gone after that.
Nice
Or
and
he just
clean.
gets really thirsty.
It's nice and clean, and I guess it's humane.
Hankering for a margarita after he gets shot.
Hey,
Corona.
Is it more? Is it more humane to go hunting with a gun or with a bow? You think? Arrow, crossbow.
Ethical and what?
No, humane.
Oh, humane. Oh,
Right.
Well, I would say whatever causes the animal the least amount of suffering.
My son thinks
But
that
could be
going
debatable.
hunting. He wants to go hunting with a crossbow, and I tell him, dude, I think you should use a gun. I think that looks like it's not as efficient, right? That looks like it might be not cool. Might be painful to the animal.
Yeah,
I would think a gun would be better.
I mean, if
right?
you're no good with a bow and arrow and you miss, you're going to cause that animal a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Certainly. Yeah,
I would think a gun is probably the better way to go.
probably is. When it comes to that, I would say you're probably right, Dave.
47910. Should we change the topics? Let's see what Dave
I
has to
don't
say.
think
Let's
so.
see what Dave has to say. Dave, you're in there.
Dave, you're in the air. Dave, what's going on?
Hey, I love those bug assaults. They're a blast. I've got one. I've got my kid one, my brother-in-law one,
Yes.
our next-door neighbor one. They're fun, especially when you're outside cooking.
Yeah.
But you do need to get a little closer than, I would say, within about a foot of it.
Really?
And on horse flies, you got to let them land and get about 2 inches away. But, yeah, you can just obliterate them.
Obliterate them.
But anyway, hold on now.
Uh-huh.
Your partner there is so scared of spiders.
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't know if he knows that daddy longlegs are probably one of the most poisonous spiders there are.
See, I know this.
They can't penetrate the skin.
Right. Thank you, Billy Army.
No,
they cannot, but also
they can't open their mouth big enough.
Well, but the other thing, Dave, is that the type of venom that a daddy longlegs has, it's not actually venomous to human beings. It's the most venomous to other insects, but not to to me, if a daddy longlegs tried to bite me and could actually penetrate my skin, it would basically feel like a bee sting.
I don't even think they can because I don't think they can open their mouth big enough
Right?
to bite
No,
you.
they can't. But if they could, the kind of venom that they have is similar to a bee's.
Yeah, I don't like them. They're all over our house and they poop all over everywhere. And you got to get rid of them right away.
How
because
big are the
they
daddy
just start
longlegs in
multiplying.
your house, man? Are they the
You
size?
sure you don't have big tarantulas in your house or something?
What is it, like a
Well, I
Dotson?
have. My kid called me one time. She goes, "Dad, there's a spider on my bed." And I'm at work. I was like, "I can't do anything about it." She goes, "No, this thing's huge." And I go, "Oh, yeah, right." So I get home, and sure enough, she had trapped it underneath a whip cool bucket, and it was a tarantula.
Really?
And it was on her bed.
That's horrifying.
Yeah. Well, the tarantula.
Did you hit it with the bug assault just to make it angry?
No, I took and let it go outside. But tarantulas are strange. They will through the years, they travel one way. And if you build something in front of it, they'll literally climb up and over it and still keep going the same way that their ancestors or however they were taught to travel. They're a cool little spider.
Jack
All
is
right.
making a
Thank
curious
you for the
face
call,
about
Dave.
that.
47910.
Jack, what is your knowledge on the arachnids?
Well,
Does that sound accurate?
Well, we
Well,
have computators. We can find out.
Here is my if someone wants to look this up, this is just my guess. If they were always going in one direction, eventually they would end up outside of the realm of the habitable zone. You know what I mean? They need to be in a certain kind of temp. If it was always going in the same direction, eventually they'd get to Death Valley or Alaska. You know what I mean? Over a long enough timeline, if they just kept going straight. Was that what he was saying?
I'm not really exactly sure. I think maybe he was talking about the migration patterns, and they might have a memory, perhaps.
Oh, I
DNA
see.
memory.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And so if something gets put in the way, it's like they're going to conquer that, even if it's a castle or whatever is in the way there.
Right.
I think it's what he's saying.
Do you think there is such a thing as memory like that?
Oh, definitely.
Societal.
turtles have
Sense
it.
memory, sure.
Sea turtles do that.
What do you mean?
The sea turtles always return to the same beaches.
No, but what I mean is, do you think that they have memory of their ancestors
No.
or of their forefathers?
No, that's just instinct,
Instinct.
I think.
Yeah, I would say it's instinct. I would say it's
Yeah, we would call
more
it instinct,
closely
right?
related to
what
sense memories. There's something in the DNA.
But we would call it instinct, maybe because we have no other way of explaining it. But memories of generations past and their migration patterns. You know what? I'm going to look that up tonight.
All right.
I think that could be.
So then, Jack, I got to ask you. Then the most horrifying thing. I like to play pranks.
Right.
That's one of my favorite things to do. You like to play pranks, Dave? Ever on people? Good ones. Pranks?
Sure.
Yeah, you like for me. At any time, if you're around me, you could find Jello in your shoes. I like to pull pranks like that. But with Jack, it might end up being I might have to use a spider, Jack, to get you to scare you up.
Well, good. I think to me, a prank is maybe one of the lowest forms of comedy.
Yeah,
but they're hilarious. But they're hilarious. That's my problem.
Yes, they're hilarious.
I always feel bad for the person who gets pranked, but I always laugh. I'm in an ethical conundrum because I can never.
Right, and the best pranks are always the one where they get worse and worse. You ever see them on YouTube? I just love pranks like that. Like this one time, I played a prank and I murdered a guy, Dave.
What?
I know. You was surprised too.
That was the I murdered my best friend prank, right? Because that was Sam Pepper.
But it seems crazy. All of the the pranks that people like. I hear George Clooney. He likes to play pranks on people, fun ones. But I think they can get out of hand. They can elevate to the point of I was saying, I murdered a guy. And
I watched. I've seen some on YouTube, and apparently people think it's funny where the girlfriend will set up her boyfriend, right, and with another guy friend, and say, "Hey, when my boyfriend walks in, let's pretend we're doing it," and they think it's funny, and I'm thinking, "Holy cow,
no,
dude,
that's terrible!
Someone's going to get murdered."
Oh,
like
absolutely,
you said,
that's
right?
terrible, Dave.
That's a terrible joke.
People take things way too far, and I think they just think it's funny. And
then there's mean pranks, right?
I don't like mean pranks.
Me either.
No, not at all.
I mean, funny pranks are funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mean
like
pranks.
Jello in your shoes. That's a good one.
That's not good, dude. Because how am I supposed to wash out my shoe? That's nasty.
It's
you ruined a perfectly good pair of shoes by then.
Okay, well.
Yeah, that's not funny.
All right, I apologize. Jack, can I play a prank on you?
I would request that you don't play a prank on
I would request.
Or maybe you should run it by him first.
Correct. Right. It's not as much fun that way, though.
4719. Who's on line one? Who is that?
I'm not sure. I know that we have Rich
Mysterio.
I can find out who's on line one.
We got him now. Yeah, you're in the air, Mysterio.
Mysterio's on 1080.
Hey, it's Ray from Marina.
Oh, hey, Ray. Of course, I forgot.
Hey, no worries. Hey, when you were asking what's more humane than hunting, rifle or a bow, it's all about respecting the animal and the life you're taking and knowing the anatomy of the animal. Hunted a lot of years, and I've seen animals lost, and it's a sick feeling when you lose an animal. But I mean, generally, a large game, if you hit them right behind the front leg, you'll hit the lungs and the heart, and they'll go down pretty quick.
Ray, could you confirm that for me? Because I've heard that if you aim just below the on the side. Underneath like an arm of a human being, but like a deer's haunch, a deer's leg, if you can collapse one of the lungs and then go through the heart, it's almost an instantaneous death. That's what I hear.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's they'll drop and they might move for a second and then they're done. The quickest one I saw was years ago. My dad took a shot and hit it in the spine, hit an elk in the spine, and it was dead before it hit the ground. And that's what you want. You don't want any suffering because
that's what I want.
Shows and these guys,
I don't want that at all.
Yeah, and because you see all these hunting shows and these guys, and it's like, come on, guys, respect what you're doing, respect the animal. You're taking it for the meat, you're not taking it for the glory.
Right. I think that's what my son's been watching. I think he's been watching some kind of Rambo guy who's been going out there and
Yeah, it sounds like he's watching to me Rambo.
He's watching the wrong kind of guy, I guess. I don't know. I'm with you though, Ray.
The best part of the hunt is the hunt. It's not the killing.
That's what I was telling him, too. I was telling him if I went on a hunt, I would just go over there and maybe take a picture or do something. I have no interest in shooting them. I would like to chase them down, though. I think that's fun, but I don't want to hurt them.
Yeah, years ago, I mean, my dad and I, we've got property up in Oregon, and we went to this one spot that we always do, and we know the elk would come up into this one area, and we'd get in 20, 30 yards from them. And it was cool just to watch. And there was plenty of bulls and, to take, but it was cool just to watch them. Then we snuck out and they never knew we were there.
Yeah. I'm all for that too.
Experience.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the call, Ray. Thank you for the call. Right. 4719, because my son wants to take this hunting class or something like that. And I was telling him, you know what? It might be good. On one hand, we don't really need, look at us. We're both chubby. Not you, but me and my son, right? We're both chubby. We don't need more food. We don't need to go out there and hunt for animals. We don't need more food.
No, we're living in modern society. We go to the grocery store.
But it might be a good skill. I think it is a good skill to learn. What do you think, Jack? To learn how to prepare and dress your carcass? I think that's what it's called, right? To dress it, to prepare it for packaging.
So.
Yeah, I think that's maybe one of the aspects that we're missing in contemporary society. Because now we get our meat. It's mystery meat. We don't know where it comes from.
Yeah.
It's just beef or chicken or whatever.
Yeah.
But if I knew how to go out and shoot an elk and dress it and then distribute that meat, I would enjoy that skill set very much.
479-1080-218-5726. Billy is being really annoying with his new toy.
No, not Dave.
There.
We're just pretending. We're live streaming on the Facebook here, just as a test thing. We're also recording. We're not live on YouTube today.
Okay, all right. Let's see who's up next. I think it's going to be Rich calling from Felton. You're in the air, Rich.
What's going on?
Yeah, is it incorrect that 85% of all of our species are insects? Is that incorrect?
I think you could Google that, Rich. I mean, I could Google it for you right now if you like.
Yeah, why don't you check that out? Because I don't know if he has a computer. Well, thank you for your call, Rich. 479-1080. That sounds on par with what I've heard. I know the vast majority of life here on Earth, maybe even pound-wise, weight-wise, is insects, and that's why they say I've heard said that a very responsible, a very replenishable food source is insects. If humans would eat insects, there'd be much less strain on the environment, much less, beef is a huge strain on the environment. If humans would eat insects, the most plentiful source of protein on the earth.
I've seen those actually, and usually what they do is they end up covering them in chocolate, delicious chocolate.
That's good.
So if they cover a cricket in chocolate, I'll eat it.
Heck
sure,
yeah, man, me too.
So
why not?
According to the Washington Post, on August 23rd of 2011. Insects and their relatives count for 85% of life on Earth.
There you go. Yeah.
This is the insect planet, Dave.
Wow. Well, when you think about it, dude, when Joshua was talking yesterday about the end of the Earth or the end of time, I was thinking, well, the end of time, does that mean the end of humans or the end of all life? Because that's hard for me to imagine. There's so much life on this planet. I mean, it is. If you didn't like life, right? If you didn't like things were life, this planet is infested with life.
Well, what they say is, even if we had a nuclear attack, Dave, and even if we went into, let's say, like a nuclear winter, it would wipe out a lot of the human population. But most of the planet will survive.
Think cockroach people would.
I hope so.
That would be awesome.
Sounds like a fun movie.
479-1080. Mike in SoCal. Thank you for your call. You're in the air.
Hey, Mike.
Thanks, man. How you doing?
Good. What's up, Mike?
You were talking about practical jokes or pranks, and it just reminded me of one time our company had a big office party, and the president said $2,800 for the whole thing, and then he didn't show up, so the VP ran up $2,800 in liquor before the boss showed up. We were all drunk and running around the restaurant. The next morning, we called the president and pretended to be the restaurant, demanding $30,000 in damages.
Wow!
And we had him going for about 15 minutes.
Oh man! Did you still have your job? I mean, did he get upset?
Yeah, he wasn't too happy. But we all left our jobs. Anyway, it just reminded me about it.
All right, Mike. Well, I think thank you for your call, 479-1080.
Thanks, Mike.
You think that goes under a bad prank?
Definitely. I feel when the prank causes far too much stress, that what could even be responsible for
remember
PTSD. It's not a good thing.
One time I called my grandma and I thought it would be funny because I would always say, "Hey, this is the California lottery. You just won $1 million." And she would go, "Oh!" So I'd play pranks on her. And one time I'd go, "Grandma, this is Dave. I just I got hit by a car and I broke my arm. I don't know why I thought that was funny." She started flipping out, dude. I was like, "No!" Some pranks are not funny, Billy.
Yeah, you're right. Some pranks
that was not funny. That's one I was.
That's why I like Jell-O in the shoe. It's a good one. It's friendly. It's nice.
All right.
I mean, it's a little sticky, but it's all right.
479-1080-218-5726. We're going to go out with delaying school could start times. Oh, geez, I just screwed it up. Hold on.
Take two.
Here we go. Supporters of the bill cited research that says delaying school start times could result in better grades, attendance, and graduation rates. A study by the American Academy of Pediatrics said sleep for teens was an important public health issue that significantly affects the health and safety of adolescents. Okay. Some people would say, hey, if the teens need more sleep, guess what? The answer is not to let them go to school later. The answer is
to make them go earlier.
Make them go to sleep earlier, Billy.
But they don't. They're just going to keep Jerry Brown just wants the same old thing where you have to get up early because they want to train good little robots to get out the door.
Middle and high schools in California
to be on the freeway and
the average start time, Billy, 8:07. Okay, middle and high school. That's the average start time, 8:07. Kids could just go to bed earlier, like I said, but It's not that simple, says the CDC. Adolescents go through puberty. As they go through their puberty, their biological rhythms typically shift, so they get sleepy late at night. It's not up to them. It is their body that is telling them to go to sleep later. Oh, yes. CDC says it found that approximately 70% of high schoolers do not get sufficient sleep. Opponents of the bill don't dispute the research, but said school boards should decide how to run their schools, which Brown agreed with. So basically, he agreed with you, Billy.
Oh, so the headline was just deceptive then.
No, the headline wasn't deceptive.
Well, no, I think, Billy, your assessment was correct. It was a group of people attempting to give the state more power over...
So let's talk about this. I think that's a fantastic idea. I think it's horrible to make these kids, especially with the time now, the time change. I could feel it. Hey, when does time change? Tomorrow?
I don't know. Jack, do you know?
Isn't tomorrow the beginning of fall?
I'll look it up right now.
Yeah, look it up, because tomorrow is the fall.
That means it gets darker earlier, right?
Yes. And I think that's right around the time that we
Then I get so tired. It's like 8 o'clock at night. I want to go to bed. I feel like I'm
Billy,
95
that's
years
what I'm
old.
talking about. Are you not paying attention?
No, I am paying attention.
Well, that's what I'm saying. These kids go to school too early.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dave. I may have misunderstood it at first, but no, I think that going to school too early like that is I'm not really a big fan of it.
Why?
I remember it and I hated it. Well, like the article saying, I was always the kind of character person who had a really hard time sleeping
until late
night when I was younger. Yeah, and I always found getting up early, like 6 o'clock.
Brutal,
to 6, it is brutal, and it's only brutal on that. It's brutal on the parents and everything else.
He's like, what did I do to deserve school again? I already went through school once. Damn it!
Exactly.
What do you think, Jack?
I hear you.
Well, so just so everyone knows, daylight savings time begins on Sunday, November 4th at 2 a.m.
Okay, good.
Oh, Sunday, November 4th.
We still have another month and a half.
I mean, I would wish that schools would look at that study and then they would say, okay, well, we need to start later, but they don't. But at the same time, I don't think that government needs to come in and tell them to do that.
How about if we start business later than 8?
Well, some do.
Right, because so you have a kid who starts, let's say, ideally starts school at 8:30, which is awesome, right? Start school at 8:30, you can sleep in a little bit later. And now your parent, though, has to be at work at 8. How are you supposed to get to school?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. It opens up a whole
can of worms.
Complex issue. Absolutely.
So what do we say?
I say that I don't have kids, so it's hard for me to put a vote in, but you certainly do, Dave. And
Governor Jerry Brown said there should be no statewide mandate barring schools from starting earlier than 8:30. Schools should be allowed to decide that on their own.
Oh, so he's actually informed. Well, I agree with him then on that case. I apologize, Mr. Brown, for the old joke that I told.
I tried to stop you from sounding like a jerk.
Well, the problem was I feel that oftentimes, and I love the Sentinel, of course, but the headline seemed a little bit off to me.
I think you just didn't hear it right.
Is my headphone working?
479-1080-218-5726, dm@ksco.com. Do you think, Jack, by letting kids go in whenever they want, 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, you're teaching them to be lazy?
Yeah, I mean, I dropped out of high school, Dave. The day I turned 18, I threw up 2 peace signs and I said deuces, and I walked out of there. I walked right down the street. I applied for my GED. I took my GED, and I went right to community college, where I dropped out for 3 consecutive years, and then I finally got my act together around 22. But my thought around high school is that it is such a monotonous waste of children's times.
Yeah, because I tend to agree there, Jack.
Every 2 years, what is it? It's Civil War. You got to learn more math. You got to use social studies. It is a mind vampire. It is a soul-sucking institution. We should not subject the most precious resource we have, which is our children, to going to public institutions with teachers who are probably hungover or high out of their minds. It's just that I have no faith in the public school institutions, and I went to a great school. I went to a great high school.
Psychic feeling that the callers might turn on you again, Jack.
Why do you say?
What you just said.
479-1080-218-5726.
Well, I feel that there's problems with the public school system too, of course, and how we're doing it. I prefer much more the European model, where you're sort of funneled into what they call a trade. But in America, we've lost that, and we've got a strange educational system here for sure.
Agreed. Yeah, it's antiquated. You've got You've got kids who are learning about the Civil War 4 times from middle school all the way through up to high school. They just add more information every time. The health classes
exactly.
are a joke.
Yeah, exactly. And it almost reminds me of that, well, it's sort of a side topic there, Dave, but you posted on the Facebook, there was a news article about them once again wanting to remove a statue of a fellow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, Prospector Pete. These kids in these colleges and all this, they're walking around, and what's the day you're walking around, you're going to school, and then one day you walk by a statue, and you got nothing else to be upset about except for go look up the history on some statue. Get really upset about it because I guess you have no life. You're not doing anything else, and let's make a big deal about tearing down a friggin' statue. Like, really? This is what's important?
You can check out that story online, but just think about this, because maybe we'll talk about it on the other side of the break. That's going to end up happening to the San Francisco 49ers mascot.
For sure.
I bet you that's going to happen.
100%.
You know what, Jack? Look it up on your computer. I think his name is Sourdough Sam. The 49ers mascot. It's a minor, right? A 49er, because that's the 49ers, San Francisco 49ers.
Prospecting gold.
Right. The argument is that these gold miners, these prospectors, destroyed indigenous cultures.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right, so wherever they went, man, the Indians died, or Indians we call them, right? Indians, or whoever the natives were, they ended up dead.
Right.
So that we celebrate these guys, these prospectors or the 49ers, they might even change their name, dude.
It is.
They might.
It is Sourdough Sam.
Sourdough Sam. See, I told you.
Huh.
I honestly, my dad's full-blooded Native American. Mm-hmm. I have no idea why everyone is up in arms over indigenous lands being lost. To me, it's like old hat. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm like this. I'd rather live in America, the greatest nation on earth, than live in a teepee. I'm not saying this to sound offensive, but than to live in a teepee where disease is rampant. Do you know what I mean? And if anybody actually looked at the history of indigenous cultures, it is no different than what you would see, aside from technology, than what you would see in Europe. Slavery, prostitution, extortion, all of these things exist. So what people do is they put the indigenous cultures in this mythos of living and being one with nature, when in fact it was truly awful. I wouldn't want to live there, and I don't know why everyone freaks out about it.
479-1080-218-5726.
Yeah, Dave, Flight 1080. So that was that fellow's name.
Let's get out to the phone. Yeah, Sourdough Sam told you. And then I guarantee you, mark my words, eventually the San Francisco 49ers will change not only their mascot, but their name.
What do you really got any ideas?
Yeah,
what they're
the 49ers, I mean, calling yourself the San Francisco 49ers.
What could they call them up there in San Francisco now? What do you think they could change it to?
The Columbus Christophers or something like that.
They should call them the Rice-A-Ronies. I don't know. San Francisco tree? Ding, ding.
Paul, line 1, you're in the air.
Throwing ideas out there, Dave. What's going on, Paul? Flight 1080.
Hey, listen, it's not what time the school starts. It's what time school ends. My kids get out of school at 2:30 in the afternoon. Who gets off of work at 2:30 in the afternoon? Why aren't they in school at 6? So we have time to go and pick them up.
What grade are they in?
Elementary school.
Oh, elementary school.
Yeah, that's young.
Okay.
That goes on all the way through, though. Nobody gets that. Everybody gets off of work 5, 6 o'clock. The kids get off of work 3 hours earlier. That's what time you got to think about it. All right.
All right. Well, thank you for the call.
I think we should make kids go to school for 10 hours straight every day.
I think they go to school too much.
Maybe 15 hours and only 3 days a week.
218-5726. White man brought all diseases to the Native Americans. I shouldn't read it like that. The white man brought all the diseases to the Native Americans, which caused him to die. When they're already balanced with nature, so it's not that they had the disease, it was brought to them because of all the settlers.
Well, they had no way of knowing at that time. It's no one's fault. It's an accident.
Well, and also, like, it is true that upper respiratory infections were brought from Europe. Specific kinds of upper respiratory infections were brought from Europe over to the Americas. However, Native Americans still suffered from dysentery. They still suffered from a slew of congenital diseases. Oh
yeah,
this
genitals.
Right, exactly. This whole thing about I just don't see why everyone makes such a big a deal out of it.
Yeah,
I really don't.
Big deal. Everybody's making a big deal about living. Everybody's living in the past.
Mind your own business. That's what I say.
Got to live in the past all the time.
Speaking of schools doing bad, Cabrillo College. Did you see this front page of the Santa Cruz Sentinel right here?
That, Dave, I did see, and that is very interesting.
They don't have nobody enrolling. They don't have
some inside
nobody.
Scoop on that, Dave.
You do?
I was just talking to a friend of mine who's taking classes out at Cabrillo, but he was mentioning, he's an older fellow, he's been in the community a long time, but there's a that brouhaha going on at Cabrillo College. Oh, you don't like that?
I hate that
I think May of Jack have even talked about this a while back. I'm not sure. But at Cabrillo, they've changed, and even some of the professors are complaining about this. The reason the classes aren't full, a lot of them now, is because they don't let you repeat courses like they used to, Dave, if you're local.
What do you mean?
They discourage it. You can only take a class one time or twice before you could repeat it. And the college was basically depending on the local community.
Why would you need to repeat a class?
Well, let's say it's a screenwriting class or an art class or a dance or something like that. They don't let you take classes more than one time now. So if you live in the community and you've taken those classes, you can never take them again. It's affected their attendance rates highly and the income they're bringing in. And the teachers are even complaining about it. They're saying these are ridiculous.
So you would want to take a dancing class?
Oh, many people
or
in the
reading
community
class,
take
some kind of reading
classes over again, Dave. Absolutely, that's a known fact.
Wow.
And the teachers out there.
That's not even mentioned in this article, and I read it.
It's a shame it's not, because that's the real scoop there.
They say, one of the things that's contributing, and they mentioned a few of them, 3 of them actually, but one of the things I found most fascinating was they blamed it on they blamed it on the economy.
That's not true.
And I'm thinking, how can that be? The economy is booming, right? We're doing fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. The problem is that now people are going out there taking these well-paying jobs, and they ain't worried about getting no education. They ain't got no time for that, Billy. They're out there working. So now the enrollment numbers are low. Without additional funds, Cabrillo could be forced to shell out about half of its reserves to make up the difference over the next 3 years. They are in big
There's something else
trouble.
going on there. It's not right. The administration is playing something.
You know what the other expense is? You know what the other huge expense is?
What's that?
Pensions.
Oh, well, absolutely. We know those are out of control in California.
Pension costs, meanwhile, are expected to keep climbing for the next 5 to 10 years. And state-based performance. Underscoring the college's financial uncertainty is a new performance-based state funding formula that will tie funds to student graduation and transfer rates. So if those are not good, then you will not get as much money. So those 3 things, bang, 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 causing Cabrillo College to take it in the shorts, or in the wallet, I should say.
Huh, that's very interesting, Dave. I did not know that. I added a little bit to that story there. I was just talking to a friend about that yesterday who goes there, and he had been talking to some of the teachers that work there. We should get a person in from Cabrillo College, one of the administrators, to talk about that, because I'd love to hear the inside scoop.
I do have an interview scheduled with one of the Cabrillo College instructors. The guy from the cyber security guy. He's going to be joining us on, I think, October 4th or something like that, 5th, somewhere around there. He's going to be joining us here on Flight 1080, and that's going to be great. That's going to be
Mr. Lemus is his name.
Yes. We're coming up on 5 p.m. Keep it tuned in. KSCO Santa Cruz, Billy Armi, Jack Stein, Dave Michaels, Phil D. Seth over there in the studio.
Oh, cool. That sounds like fun. And the first event, when is that? October 6th, I think?
I think October 5th is going to be our kickoff at the Blue Lagoon. We've been doing the Blue Lagoon every Thursday for 11 and a half years. The last night we had Oliver Graves from America's Got Talent, and it's a free show on Thursdays, and October 4th is our kickoff. And we've got some great talent. We have some, raffles we're going to do, and it's just kind of like a chance for all the locals and some out-of-town headliners and the audience to kind of just, have a fun show to kind of kick off the festival.
All right, cool.
And then on October 5th is a Friday, and I made a movie about stand-up comedians in Santa Cruz called Stand Up Santa Cruz the Movie, real catchy. And it got accepted into the Santa Cruz Film Festival. So we're going to have the world premiere at the Tannery.
Nice.
Friday, October 5th at 9:15, and it's let me just say, if you're coming to see the movie, can I mention prices on this show?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's $10 to see the movie, and that money goes to the film festival, which is another great organization. And the movie has some pretty strong language in it.
Well, that's to be expected, I guess. Comedians like to go off the cuff. So where can we check out the Santa Cruz Comedy Festival? As a website?
Yeah, so we do it all through our website, which is standupsantacruz.com, and that will get you to our events and our event page. We have an event page. If you go to Facebook and search Santa Cruz Comedy Festival, you'll get to our event page, and I'm posting all the comedians that are coming and all the lineups. But then the real big day is Saturday, October 6th. That's when we have all the venues downtown. We have 11 venues, and we have 60 comedians. And so you can, on Saturday, October 6th, starting at 11 in the morning, we're doing a comedy brunch at Food Lounge. And then at 5 p.m., we're doing this thing at Bookshop Santa Cruz with 4 comedians who are also authors. And then it really takes off because we start having the free shows. We have a free show at Abbott Square at 6 p.m. We have a free show at Streetlight Records at 6 p.m. And then it just keeps going until 1 a.m.
Cool, man. That's awesome. There's going to be comedians running all over this town.
Yeah. I take into consideration their height, their weight, and their general health, or how far they have to run.
Right.
I don't want anyone keeling over on my watch.
All right, cool. That's fantastic. Thanks for calling in. And in October, we'll sure to bring you into the studio and get you in there and talk about maybe bring some more comedians. We had Creon and we had some other comics, as you know. And
John Reinhardt and Caroline Hoff.
Yes.
They're all part of the Santa Cruz comedy community. We put on shows up to 7 nights a week. So, if you want to laugh, come on out and check out their show.
Absolutely. All right, DNA, thanks for calling. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
DNA, huh?
Yeah,
Billy?
that's right. Calling from DNA. That was fantastic. Santa Cruz Comedy Festival is coming up. Going to be a lot of comics all over the Santa Cruz area, different locations, downtown and whatnot. And it's going to be a good time.
All right.
Good time, Dave.
479-1080-218-5726. What are we doing now, Billy?
Well, Dave, I mentioned it briefly between the breaks, and Jack Stein, are you up for a little bit of fun?
I love fun.
All right, Dave, now
Are
it's
you
time.
sure, Jack?
It is time.
That's a lie. I actually hate fun.
Well, you're going to love this. It is time for Dave.
And now it's time for Billy's Tasty and Tainted Trivia.
Wow.
All right, Jack. Now, normally on Billy's Tasty and Tainted Trivia, we have items that we bring in, and you are forced to sample them if you get the question incorrect. Unfortunately, we don't have that set up today, last minute kind of a thing. But we wanted to play this here with you, Jack Stein. Okay. And it's going to be, I'm going to have Dave ask some questions too. I'll ask the first one. And these are just trivia questions. And we'll see how you do. We'll see how you do.
And if you lose, this is where you would have eaten a rotten egg or whatever we have.
Or sampled a beverage that might taste like bacon and eggs.
Or some chocolate-covered bugs.
Okay.
Or some camel meat.
Jack Stein, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Question number 1. Now, you claim to be a smart guy, Jack. I've heard you on the radio quite recently, and Dave always defers to you for your wealth of knowledge.
I'm a well-read man.
So we'll begin with this. What is the minimum IQ requirement for Mensa?
144.
That is incorrect, Jack Stein.
Is it 160?
Is it 182?
No, remember, minimum requirement.
Oh, excuse me, the minimum requirement.
Minimum requirement. Now, I'll read you that. I'll give you another chance here.
All right.
Minimum requirement. Is it 130, 140, 132, or 145?
I'm going to say, I think it's 145.
Jack Stein, you are incorrect. The correct answer is 132.
Really? Boy, they let any idiot in there.
I know. Quick.
Wow.
If you can change a tire, apparently you can go into Mensa.
Jack feels they've lowered the requirements. Dave, how would you like to ask the next question? Dave, you ask the next question for Jack.
I can't read, Billy.
You don't want to do it? All right.
No, my head hurts.
All right. Dave's got a little bit of a headache. He's stressing out from after that long fare. Okay, Dave. Jack, what year did the TV show WKRP in Cincinnati debut? You know that show, Jack?
I'm not familiar.
That's the radio show. It was a sitcom.
Okay. Oh, I know this one.
Was it 1978?
Okay.
1975, 1982, or 1980?
I want to say it's got to be 1980.
That is incorrect, Jack Stein. You missed again.
Wait. What's the answer?
I'm sorry, Dave.
I said 1978.
It is 1978. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'm not showing Dave the answers here, Jack. Right. We're not cheating over it. No. Dave, you want to ask him a question, or I'll go again?
No, I have a headache.
He has a headache.
I have a headache.
Now, this question, I think I wrote it for Dave, but I'll ask Jack. It'll be just as fun. Jack, what year was the first hair transplant done? Was it 1860?
They can do that?
1960. Wow. 1952.
Damn.
Or 1981.
All right, so this is my problem with trivia.
Okay.
Is that it's not that this information is useless.
Well, it's for fun, Jack. Come on.
Right, but I'm currently, like, fun for me is, like, you know, talking about important things in the world. Right now,
this is important. Dave might need to get a hair transplant, and we're giving him valuable research on the history of it.
I would contest that, but I will say the first successful one. See, now this is a curveball because it could have been done in 1860.
You're right.
Some guy who's hanging out with Abraham Lincoln says, "Hey guys, guess what?" And they're all like, "What?" And he's like, "I found this crazy doctor who's going to take hair from the back of my head and he's going to sew it onto the front of my head." And they all went, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, dudes, I'm going to get my hair back. It's going to be dope."
All right. So you're thinking 1860 then?
See, I would say that because that's the look that you're giving me. But then I think,
don't trust me.
What the likely answer is that there was a Frenchman in 1960 who thought,
Frenchman. It's interesting you bring that into
like a surgeon in France who was like, I bet I could sew the hair on from one man.
I will take this back hair and put it on the front.
Exactly, because the French are into that kind of thing. So I want to say 1860.
1860, Jack, is incorrect. It is 1952.
Oh, yeah.
Plugs by Dr. Norman Orenterich in New York City, 1952.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been around a while.
Interesting,
yeah. Been around a while there.
Okay.
They say it works. All right, Jack, you ready? The next one, we have another TV show question. I know you don't like television that much.
No, never watch it.
But here's another one related to radio.
Okay.
What year did the TV show Frasier debut?
Okay, Frasier comes out after Cheers.
Correct.
This is my problem with Frasier Crane.
You have a lot of problems with every question. This is my problem.
So Frasier Crane, the jokes are so highball.
Oh, I loved that show.
You know what I mean? So like you have Frasier ranting about Chardonnay, and then you have his little brother who's talking about his shag carpets, Niles, and then the dad is supposed to be this Archie Bunker like character. How did he birth these two prissy men who are talking about getting manicures and pedicures?
The mother wasn't on the show. They never showed that character. So she was more like a Lilith type who Frasier was probably married to.
Okay.
Right. More that, A-type, very intellectual. So the answers are, and you have to choose here, Jack, 1990, 1993, 2000, or 1989.
Frasier's 1989.
Jack, that is incorrect. The proper answer is 1993.
All right,
Jack is smiling. He's having fun. He's getting all the questions wrong, but he's having a good time.
You would be sick if we were actually had the challenge going on right now. Holy smokes!
That is correct. All right, Dave. Next question.
One more.
Oh, we have a break coming up, don't we?
We've got time for one.
Okay, one more. Okay, this is a good one. I really like this question. The maximum height, Jack, you can be and still qualify as a little person is 4 foot 5 inches, 4 foot 11 inches, 4 foot 10 inches, or 4 foot 2 inches. The maximum height you can be, and once again, maximum height you can be to qualify as a little person.
God, this is a tough one because I interact with a lot of little people. I have another problem with little people, but for the sake of time,
you got a problem with little people?
Oh yeah, man! What
do you think of the Wizard of Oz?
Oh, I love it. I love it. Here's my problem with little people is I wish little people were into being little people just a little bit more.
That's a line of thinking you're gonna have to explain to me.
I'll explain.
You're avoiding the answer here, Jack. Come on.
The shortest you can be and be a little person has got to be 4'10".
Yes, you got it right. All right,
really?
4'10". Yes, that's according to the LPA. That's the Little People of America. The LPA.
So if you're shorter than that, then you're a dwarf or something like that.
No, if you're shorter than that, you're still qualified as a little person. You can only, in other words, maximum height, 4 foot 10 and above. No, the maximum height you can be as a little person.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 foot 10. Jack got it right.
All right.
Excellent.
That sounds good. Are we done, Billy?
We got one more question. Dave, you want to do it after the break?
No, let's do it right now. Just do it right now, Billy.
All right.
Get it over with.
Okay, Jack, real fast. What was the longest running weekly radio program with the same host? Was it Oscar Brand, 70 years? And that was 1945 to 2016. Was it Peter Steakwhistle, 35 years, 1930 to 1965, American Progress? Was it Harold Fakoctor, 60 years, 1930 to 1990, Week in Review? Or was it Terry Smith, 40 years, 1950 to 1990, Bait and Fish Tackle News?
I think it's Terry I think it's got to be Terry.
Terry Smith is incorrect. That was a real answer. The two in the middle were made up by me. Peter Steakwhistle does not exist, nor does Harold Fakakter. It was Oscar Brand, 70 years doing the Folk Song Festival Canada from 1945 to 2016, and that sounds like a nightmare to Dave, doesn't it?
What are the names that you made up? Peter Steakwhistle?
Yes, Peter Steakwhistle and Harold Fakakter. Flight 1080. Doesn't that sound terrible? How'd you like to do a show for 70 years, Dave? You'd be tired after that. That's true. Oscar Brand.
He really did a show for 70 years?
70 years, yeah. It's weekly running. The same host. It was called the Folk Song Festival and ran out of Canada.
Wow, man. Dude, that guy was a beast. 5:32 is the time. We're going to break for news. Bill D. Seth has that. Traffic and weather. All right, you're listening to Flight 1080. Billy Armi joining me and Jack Stein. How are we doing, you guys?
Great. That was a good job you did there on the Tasty and Tainted Trivia, Jack.
Thanks so much.
You got one correct.
I did get one. What was that, 5?
Correct.
Well,
that's 20%.
20% is not bad.
Yes.
No, that's
30% is even better.
That's true.
And if you want to learn how to make 30% commissions, I could show you how to do it. Hey, I mentioned I was going to give you guys some samples. I never gave you guys any samples.
Yeah. What do you got here, Dave, for us?
I have some Arthrodex here, dude.
Arthrodex.
See, I've heard about this.
And then we have a big sale coming up next week. I'll be out there at the Dave Cave from 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. So that's from morning till night.
That is plenty of time to pop in and get all of your longevity products.
And we have these. We have these samples of Arthrodex. Now I'm going to give you some, Billy. You have a pet, right? You have
I do. I have a black kitty. Yes, I appreciate that. Cool.
That is good. Your cat's going to love that. Dogs love it. And dogs, you know what they eat. They'll eat anything, right?
They will. That's what I hear.
Cats, not so much. If a cat likes it. Cats are finicky, and they like this stuff, dude. I'm telling you, it's really good stuff. Vitamins for your pets. Arthrodex is what it's called. Stop by, pick up your free sample next week. I'm going to be out there. I'll also be out there from 10 to 2 tomorrow. Awesome. All right. Let's do. What do you guys want to do?
Well, Dave, Billy? I think you had some more hot topics there.
I do have a hot topic, which I would really like to get to. I'm looking through the headlines here, though, on Twitter, and I see that PayPal has just ditched Alex Jones. You want to talk about? Let me throw this out.
That's kind of big news.
Let me throw this out there to you, okay? You won't be able to use PayPal anymore to buy fluoride-free toothpaste or a bottle of the Real Red Pill Plus. I guess those are products being sold by Alex Jones. The digital payments company is the latest platform to ditch Alex Jones and his InfoWars site, which, along with conspiracy theories, peddles the I Stand With Trump t-shirts, Wake Up America coffee mug, and so on and so forth. What does that matter? The gist is here, Billy, that PayPal has stopped doing business with Alex Jones.
Yeah, well, they don't like what he has to say, I suppose, and they are a private platform. They can do that if they like. It raises that great question again, though. With electronic digital technology and the what have you and the like, by shutting down his YouTube, shutting down his Twitter, shutting down the PayPal. I mean, they want this guy to straight up go away. No bones about it.
But he doesn't get the hint.
Well, has he been up to some antics recently? I haven't heard.
Oh, he has. He has, absolutely. What do you think, Jack? Twitter just dropped their business deal with Alex Jones.
PayPal.
I'm sorry. PayPal has just dropped their business deal with Alex Jones. They will no longer accept payments on his behalf. He's up the creek.
I'm sure he's not happy about that.
Well, I mean, Alex Jones has one of the largest audiences in radio. I honestly think that a lot of these companies are actually going to miss his business.
Oh, that's true.
And I'm of the opinion, this is just a theory that I have. I think that Alex knew that this was going to happen. I think he's a smart enough man, or his team is smart enough to know that at a certain point in time, he was going to push the envelope way too far.
Right.
So I would be surprised if they haven't prepared for this. I would be surprised if they don't have backups put in place. The common kind of thing that people like to say about Alex Jones is that he's just a nutcase and so on and so forth. They forget that he's built a $50 million a year.
Oh, you can't deny the work he's put in.
It's amazing.
No, absolutely. It is amazing what he's built. There's no doubt about that.
I think that PayPal gets paid through microtransactions. They take cents or portions of cents out of every transaction. So, I mean, I think it will affect them. Maybe not in the short term, but certainly in the long run.
Right.
Do you think it's fair for them to do that?
I mean, they're a private company, just like what Billy Armi said. They are a private company. They are well within their rights to do that. However, I'm sure if we did some research, there's probably some pretty nefarious individuals out there that get paid through PayPal.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, they're definitely putting a spotlight on him Definitely. Maybe make an example out of them.
479-1080 if you want to talk about that. I just saw that. PayPal is the latest platform to ditch Alex Jones and InfoWars. It's the latest step in them against him, right?
That's
them being
what
the
it
media.
comes down to, I think, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is his whole thing, right? Is I'm an outsider. The corporate media doesn't want me. They don't like me because I'm speaking the truth. If anything, they're going to reinforce his base.
His audience's base. Absolutely. I totally
Well, you know,
agree with
there's that, and the guy really does say some nutty stuff.
Oh, he does.
The guy
I've heard him say some
is
nutty things.
way out in left field. And so for them to treat him like an outsider, you treat him like an outsider.
Okay.
That's the way I look at it.
I don't know. We have this concept or idea, at least in America, of freedom, of opportunity and possibilities. And with modern technology, the way everything is going, maybe if they cut his legs off, is that a good thing for America as a whole? I don't know if it is.
To sandbag Alex Jones and try to suppress his speech.
I don't know if that's really in the long run necessarily a good thing, you know. But they're a private company,
that's
and
the better
I do
question.
support the idea that they don't want him there. They can do what they
That
want.
really is the better question.
But I feel that is a deeper question, yeah.
Which question? Suppressing
Well,
his
it's
speech?
worrisome. It's worrisome for someone like him who basically is a talk show host.
Yes.
He has to get his information out there via YouTube, Twitter, whatever it might be. Those are the popular platforms nowadays for that type of media. And by shutting him down one by one, they're making an example of him in a way and saying, hey, we don't like you.
They are.
And Jack, as Jack was saying, you know, there's probably a lot of people doing a lot worse things, buying and selling using PayPal accounts than just simply talking on a program.
You know, it's again, and I guess an example of how the media is biased and is agendized. Is it not?
Well, I think they protect their interests, no doubt about that.
Right.
I mean, we can see it.
I mean, you remember a few weeks ago when 300 newspapers nationwide published this letter to Donald Trump saying, "Hey, we're going to stick up to you. You can't call us the bad guy," and blah blah blah. Right? There was clearly an agreed to plan. These guys are clearly working together. And I think this is another example of how the media companies are working together, in this case, to get rid of Alex Jones.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that, Dave.
I have a theory about this, the way that this is going down.
All right.
I think that if we look at companies like CNN, MSNBC, the idea, or even Silicon Valley companies, these are all heavily left-leaning institutions. I wouldn't call them liberal because that's not the most accurate description, but they're certainly progressive media institutions. And I think the reason that they're leaning so heavily is because the progressive message, the leftist message of socialism and healthcare for all and single-payer healthcare is an easy message to sell. It is an easy product to sell to the viewing public because it's an easy idea. It's an easy concept. We'll just tax people, and then we'll redistribute the wealth. I think that's maybe one of the reasons why we see Alex Jones and also conservatives on YouTube getting taken down, because no one wants to. Your contemporary advertising firms are advising people not to advertise on these shows. Because it's very difficult to sell the message of it's your responsibility to take care of your life. It's your responsibility to take care of yourself. That's a hard sell. An easy sell is those people over there are stealing from you and you deserve their profits.
You know, I'm not so sure that's true.
This is just my theory. This is just my working theory.
My experience in radio has been that the conservative man, I'm just talking radio, just has a huge receptive audience. Left-leaning programs don't last.
Well, years ago, as KSCO had, you guys ran Air America.
Right.
And that network did not survive.
Other than NPR,
nationwide.
though, I mean, what left-leaning... And NPR is... I'm not talking... You know, that's more of an organization rather than a program. I don't think there's any successful left-leaning programs other than on MSNBC. You know, their successes.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, I would say like CNN, ABC.
CNN's ratings are horrible.
They are pretty bad.
Horrible,
They're terrible. MSNBC has a couple of hit shows, but for the most part, the conservative message seems to have a really receptive audience. I don't know. Maybe that's just been my experience.
Well, you could also say that they're taking up like the demographic niche because you don't really hear a lot of college students watching Fox News for information.
Or listening to the radio.
Yeah, where do they get their information at?
I know. You know why I'm so smart? It's because I listen to the radio.
Well, you know, where they're getting their information is why this Alex Jones thing is so should bug you, because they're getting their information from these guys who are clearly agendized again. They want to get rid of Alex Jones. They all got together to print that letter against Donald Trump, right? They get together, they are agendized, and they do cooperate with each other. They do conspire. They do all that stuff.
But it's okay because they're right, Dave? I mean, that's kind
of the way they
feel
look
like
at
they
it.
can get away and say anything because we are the correct ones. You know, I'm not sure. This is a very recent phenomenon in modern politics and in America. This idea that I am totally right and you are totally wrong, and it's just division. It's tearing apart the country. It's a shame.
It really is.
I hate to see it. I really do.
479-1080. Let's see what Andrew has to say. Calling from Aptos. You're in the air, Andrew.
Andrew, how's it going?
This is Andres, but that's okay.
Andres.
Thank you for the welcome. Here's my theory on this PayPal thing. It's a symptom of the internet splitting into two. There was an article on CNBC this morning or late last night. The former CEO of Google, I don't know what his name was, but he's a former CEO of Google. He's saying that he predicts that in the future, by 2028 or something like that, he says that the internet's going to split into two factions that are going to be isolated from each other. There's going to he's predicting that there's going to be a Chinese internet that's going to service Asia, Africa, and Europe, and then there's going to be the American competing internet against that, and that obviously, hopefully, the American internet is going to be promoting freedom of expression, openness, free market, and the other side of the world is going to have an internet that promotes Chinese collectivism, or however you want to word it. A few weeks ago, and here's another idea that was also predicting towards this path. A few weeks ago, this guy named Dr. Shiva, I can't pronounce his last name, but he's running against Elizabeth Warren, the so-called Pocahontas, over in Massachusetts for the Senate seat. Dr. Shiva holds a patent for inventing some early protocol of email, so he's actually an inventor of something. He has a patent for that. And he says that in the 90s, in the mid-90s, and in the late 90s, he approached the Postal Service twice, trying to get the Postal Service to provide some sort of a premium email account system, because back then, he says, all these people like Yahoo, Hotmail were offering free email accounts, and he was telling the post office, hey, you guys should offer some sort of a premium email system that could then be used to protect email so that it's not being filtered by companies now like Google that are
or
Apple.
Yeah,
that are moving over their bases over to China, giving their security keys to China. So now our email here in America is not being protected by any sort of law that does protect your regular first-class mail. You know, you can go to jail for 20 years or something ridiculous.
I get what you're saying. It makes perfectly logical sense. And if you look in the tech industry, there's an exorbitant amount of intellectual property theft that goes on in China that's blatantly ripping off American patents, and Trump has hinted upon it. I know a little bit about the tech industry. I was in there, and I've seen it go on, and it absolutely happens. And
so the connection between between those two stories, Dr. Shiva, one other idea that he was trying to push the post office to do is, you know, you guys have all these little post offices across the nation. You could be putting up what he called mesh network antennas to set up a new internet that's internal, protected, and covered under the laws that protect U.S. mail. So between this Dr. Shiva, what the CEO of Google is now saying, or former CEO of Google is now saying, and what's happening with Alex Jones, it appears to be happening, and hopefully it will lead to a free American internet, and we'll see where it goes from there. But Alex Jones, for a while there, he was calling PayPal pedopal, because there was a story that PayPal was not financing, but allowing people connected to pedophile rings to, you know, have transactions. And there was some...
Yeah, it's so hard to track, as Jack was pointing out. I mean, it's how do you...
So if you do a Google search on like a news Google search on PedoPal, maybe some reference will come up on how PayPal was connected or had some connection to a pedophile network. But
I see.
All right. Well, 479-1080. Thank you for the call, Andres.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Andres. Interesting information. Scary information.
Every time I talk about Alex Jones, I just feel like I got to take a shower. Like, ugh.
Well, he's nasty, a controversial character any way you look at him. No doubt about that. I mean, he says some wild stuff.
You have to go so far into the rabbit hole to make some of his theories make sense. I mean, you have to really buy a lot of stuff to make that stuff make sense.
Yeah.
It's really...
I stopped listening to him years ago because I found it humorous for a while. When he'd be like, you just go crazy for 20 minutes or whatever. I found that humorous, entertaining for a while. But every day, and the guy's going to give himself a stroke one of these days.
I'm sure he is. Yes. Timmy calling from Salinas.
Hey, Timmy, what's going on?
Yes, sir. My question is for Mr. William Armi.
Billy.
Mr. Armi.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Bill. Yes, sir. Bill. Billy. So I think it's what Alex Jones says the way he says it that really pushes the envelope so far that he actually rips it open. No, I mean he's talking about how Dianne Feinstein should step down if she's if all these these accusations from the past are coming up and all this stuff. He stated that he was gentlemen, he stated that he was in the airport and that he witnessed Dianne Feinstein staring at his crotch, and he thinks that she should step down for that.
He didn't.
Did he really say that? I wonder if it even happened. I wonder if that even happened, or if he just... he probably saw her in the airport for 2.5 seconds.
He's probably looking to see about the whole Mario Kart thing and the whole...
Is that your favorite? I wanted to ask you about that. Is that your favorite Super Nintendo game? I don't want to get into that, Billy. I keep seeing people are posting pictures of Mario the Toad.
I know, it's disgusting.
What's that all about?
I don't know.
That was my favorite game, Super Mario Kart. I loved it. I always liked to play Princess Peach. That was my favorite character. But you like the Toad there, Dave?
No, I don't like Toad, Billy.
Well, why are you talking about Mario Kart?
Forget it. 479-1080. Apparently you didn't hear what Stormy Daniels said about our president.
No, sir, I did not, Dave.
All right. Well,
Stormy Daniels. The thing about
look it up online.
Here's the thing about Stormy Daniels is she's a porn star, right?
Yes.
Like what? Like I'm going to get some revelations from Stormy Daniels about something? Come on, get serious.
218-572-647-9108. We got about 4 minutes to go, Billy. What do you want to do? I got some good topics here, but I don't think 4 minutes will do it.
No, it's not going to do it. But I wanted to ask Jack, because I've been hearing Jack on the radio, and I'm curious his taste in music, Jack.
Yeah.
What type of music is your favorite? Recently my favorite I've been listening to on YouTube a lot, Dave, a lot of jazz and all that. Do you get into jazz? Because you play some cool stuff on Flight 1080.
Yeah,
you play some...
I don't play a whole lot of jazz, but
you play like rhythm and blues and stuff like that. That's related to jazz.
Everything. I play a little bit.
And I just love that jazz. Like sometimes I listen to Charlie Friedman. He plays a lot of jazz. My favorite thing about jazz is the part when it sounds like a guy squeezing Jimmy Durani's nose in a cartoon.
What do you mean?
That's when the jazz gets real good. When it's like, wah, wah, wah. You know what I'm saying? How about you, Jack? What's your favorite kind of music? That's my jazz for now for me. I'm in a kind of a jazz mood lately.
Well, I can't handle jazz because I don't smoke opium.
I don't smoke opium either.
No.
What are you saying?
Well, the people who do jazz do a ton of heroin.
Well, but like I say, there's good jazz that's kind of like tight, and then there's that experimental jazz.
That's what I'm talking about.
Miles Davis got into later on in life, where it's like, once again, going back to the sounding like honking Jimmy Durani's nose, a lot of.
I can't handle atonal music. I need a melody. I'm with Dave Michaels on this. I need melody. I need really nice sounding music.
Jazz is not nice sounding. I love jazz, unless it gets honky sounding, like murdering a duck or something. That's what I don't like it. Although it is humorous.
Jazz to me is the music that will likely play when the gates of hell open up.
That's why I like it so much.
The demons begin pouring through. I'm just going to hear...
Well, what is your favorite then, Jack?
My favorite music?
Genre of music. Let's just say for nowadays, because change, we have our tastes change over time.
I don't have... That's like saying I have a favorite child. Do you have
any children?
No, but if I did, I wouldn't have a favorite.
Okay.
Well, you never know.
That's a very...
you might.
I know, I probably will.
That's a diplomatic answer.
I probably will have a favorite child.
So what's your favorite music? I think I've already asked you this before, right?
So we did this round of questions a couple days ago.
You didn't answer it then. You don't want to answer it now.
I mean, I answered. What was the young lady that we had on the other day?
Allie
asked me the same question. I said that I like some pop punk music. I liked pop music. I like classical music.
How do you feel about Biggie Smalls?
I'm a fan.
Man, I'm making these great things for next year out there at the fair. I'm going to bring them out and enter them. They're going to be Biggie Smalls nesting dolls, Russian nesting dolls. I'm going to enter them in the fair, Dave. Oh, you're just laughing now. I'm going to win a prize. You watch.
Biggie Smalls nesting dolls?
That's right. Biggie Smalls Russian nesting dolls.
All right. 479-1080, 218-5726, DM at KSEO.com. Flight 1080, 479-1080. You're listening to Flight 1080 KSEO Santa Cruz, being brought to you in part by Primo Roofing. That's PREMO, PrimoRoofing.com. You need a new roof to protect your home or business. You can now rest easy because Primo Roofing offers a variety of easy, flexible finance programs with no money down, no income verification, and 100% financing. Call or click for a free estimate. That's PrimoRoofing.com, PREMO Roofing.com, or 831-443-3605. That's 443-3605 or PrimoRoofing.com. All right, welcome aboard Flight 1080. Yes, we're back.
Flight 1080, I'm Billy Armi. There's Dave Michaels.
You ready to get something juicy, Jack?
I'm ready to get some juicy.
Ready to get the blood flowing, ready to get the teeth ready to turn to some red meat.
I'm totally ready.
Okay, here we go. Santa Cruz Sentinel, the opinion section. Cheryl Dugan from Watsonville writes to the Santa Cruz Sentinel this letter, which I think can spark a good conversation.
It is a good one, Dave.
Today's students, this is the title of the letter. Today's students must hear from all sides. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names can never hurt me. Is a poem we all learned as children, yet today's students are actually afraid of words.
Yeah.
Any idea, especially a conservative one, that differs from their own, seems to be a threat to their very existence. How can there be a learning environment that expands the mind if one isn't exposed to differing points of view? Many of today's high school and college students have been indoctrinated with the false narrative that America is the world's worst problem, when in fact, America is the greatest nation on earth. History has been rewritten and communism and socialism have been whitewashed. These are all real threats to our existence. If freedom of thought and open disclosure are stifled, it will become a nation that is enslaved.
What do you think about that, Jack?
I think she's totally accurate. I mean, I just got out of UCSC as an institution, and I think that she's completely accurate. The only thing I would add to that is that the UC system, again, is selling a very specific kind of product. And the product that they're selling their students is that America is a horrible place, white people are terrible, colonialism is still a thing, it's ongoing, and there is no such thing as free speech, meaning all speech comes at a cost. And the cost of that speech